A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present over here, teachers. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm extremely sorry for starting the session extremely late. I'd just gone for a brief session at one of the schools nearby on the occasion of Republic Day. So, on that occasion, a very happy Republic Day, a happy 76th Republic Day to one and all present over here. Everything that revolves around today with respect to the rules and regulations and the country's law and order, everything began with respect to the Constitution. And this day marks one of the most important deal about constitution of a particular country. So thank you so much for joining, and I'm extremely sorry for the delay. And I'm really proud, and I would not say proud, that I'm happy about all the efforts taken by the teachers across the country to have gone to the school on a Sunday, even though if it's a Republic Day. Some of you are cribbing about it, but somewhere you have to show patriotism, at least in the schools, at least for the sake of the children. So that's a very big thing. So I'm really sorry that I'm a little shabby about my presentation today, but I'll make sure that the session is quite impactful from the topic of concept versus skill. Thank you so much for joining, teachers. I hope my audio is clear. I hope my video is visible. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me 1 minute, not more than that, and I'll be able to open the presentation so that we'll start with the session as soon as possible. Welcome back. So here it goes. So let's begin with our next session, teachers. Concept versus skill, an important topic, and we are going to get into some activities. I really like today's topic and session, considering its roots from the education perspective, especially the board and all. We're going to talk about all these things one by one. Let me not drag it further. I've got exactly 40 minutes and a good amount of content to be delivered, and you'll love it. Today's topic is completely on, I would say, technicalities of teaching, not much apart from that. So, anyways, concept versus skill is Super Sunday workshop series. We are there at the 96th session right now. Another 3 sessions, and then we'll be there in the 100th session. And I would like to thank wholeheartedly all the teachers who have been very regular and continue to join every Sunday. Today, the number of teachers are comparatively lesser, considering the fact that most of you are there in respective schools. If you are joining the session from a school while a speech is being delivered on the stage, I would request you to please stop listening to this video and focus at the school. Because if at all you're caught by watching a Super Sunday session in a Republic Day in a school, principal is not going to send the right message. So I would request you to please focus at the school. I've seen some teachers doing that anyways. So thank you so much for all the appreciation and recognition. Let's go into the first and the most important activity with respect to concept versus skill. By the way, this topic is like, why are we even discussing about it? This has got everything to do with something called as lesson planning. You'll understand that eventually. You'll understand that eventually. And let me play this game. And for this game to be played, I would request your participation on the chat, teachers. And I'll ask you some questions. You just have to say yes or no. Maybe it is true or maybe it is not. So it's going to be completely from the perception of respective person. So it's going to be perspectives and opinions and viewpoints, and not really an ideal scenario. Shall we start that? Please watch this. So the first one, we're going to have two categories of concept and skill. You need to tell me if each are dependent or not. So here in this case, the first question comes something like this. Try to answer this. Okay. Oh, what? Sure, no, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, in order to deliver a very good speech, maybe at a Republic Day function, for example, do you really require public speaking techniques? Say yes or no on the chat. I'll repeat the question. In order to deliver a good speech, do you really need public speaking techniques that you learn in a paper or a book or some place? You can just say yes or no on the chat. Some people say yes, some people say no. Okay, some people say yes. Okay, majority of go with yes. So you really need a lot of public speaking techniques. in order to have or in order to deliver a good speech. Okay, that's understood. That's understood. Let's go with the next question. We're not going to go with right or wrong right now. We'll conclude on that right after completing this. We're going to go to the next topic, and it says that in order to have or in order to paint a portrait, in order to paint a portrait, let's stop the music. In order to paint a portrait, do you really require or to know the concept of color theory? I'll repeat it. In order to paint a portrait, you're going to just paint, say, for example, me. That's really wrong. But if you're able to paint a portrait, would you be able to? I mean, would you really need the color theory to be known for all the people out there? Now many people say no. Color concept is important. Should be clear. Definitely yes. Oh my God. Seriously, and suppose if I get into the portrait, I just draw something. I thought I drew my wife, but it ends up becoming a monkey or something like that, which is kind of cute. But I don't know any color theory, but still the drawing matches up to a certain extent. So shading speaks a lot. You're right. You're right. So here, like color theory is not really mandatory, but I can still make a portrait. But if I know color theory and then I portrait, so that's kind of a good combination. That's what you mean to say, if I'm not wrong. Portrait is the question. Oh, that's the reason. Okay. Let's go with the next one. Let's go with the next one. And this is going to be quite interesting. The next one. Did I mark it? Yes, here we go. So the next one talks about practicing mindfulness. Now, in order to practice mindfulness, wait a minute, I'm not able to see the chat. Here it is. In order to practice mindfulness, do you really need to know the concept of meditation techniques? Or you don't need. So meditation techniques, I think there are multiple techniques. Some people, so meditation is not even considered as one of the yoga practices. It's altogether a different domain. It's apart from yoga. And when we get into the concept of meditation, then there are a lot of different types of meditation. Some people talk about mindfulness, some people talk about breathing exercises, some people talk about manifestation, law of attraction. Multiple things come under this. So do you really need to know all these things in order to practice mindfulness? Yes, no. So some people very nicely wrote no, but it kind of helps. That's interesting outlook. That's interesting outlook. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. Will be now in order to play a guitar. I think no can be handy. That's good. That's good. In order to play a guitar, yes, Meenal ma'am will talk about it. In order to play a guitar, do you really need to know the musical notes and scales? I'll repeat it. In order to play the guitar, do you really need to know the musical notes and scales? I remember one of the interviews of Sri S.P. Balasubramaniam, SPB, the singer, you know that, right? So he very nicely put across that I am not a singer who followed the proper education of music. I just sang and somehow I learned during the process. So that statement by a great legend called as SPB, he's able to say that he does not really require I mean, he didn't say he doesn't require, but he learned the art of music by himself. He was just having its a quality, and eventually he learned the musical notes and scales. So this brings me a very big question, like, is it really required for me to learn uh, those annotations and those musical notes and scales? Do I really require to have the concept? Not required, right? These might be mandatory, but will be effective. Oh, okay, that's a good outlook. Let's go forward with the next question. Let's go forward with the next question. Next question is performing surgery. Come on, performing surgery. Do you really require anatomy and physiology? Now, this because it's completely like we're not about like I'm aware about it. It's very hard to say no to this. Yeah, it's very hard to say no to this. In order to perform a surgery, anatomy and physiology is the most important. Just imagine we are conducting the same workshop and asking some set of doctors, and this particular session is being watched by the general audience. If at all there is one doctor who said that to perform a surgery, he or she doesn't really require anatomy and physiology, done. We are spoiling the complete business of that doctor. Doctors can't say this. However, it's just an outlook over here. Is it really required or not? We are just going to the extreme situation. What do you think about running a business? I think many of the teachers out there, apart from the teaching career, you might have your own, uh, small business setup. I remember one of my teachers, when I was, young during my school days, she used to have this hobby of knitting and embroidery and everything. So she used to make scarf and sweaters, and she used to actually get a lot of recognition. And there was a time when she made that as a business while she was being a teacher. Now, running a business, it's an art, it's very important. Do you really think that we require the concepts related to business management? Like, do I really need to possess MBA to start a business? So it's all about, the topic over here. Like somebody said, it depends. So if it's a doctor, it's mandatory because it's very serious. It's about human beings. But business to chalega. It is like, okay, even if it goes down, it's completely fine. Is that the outlook over here? So here concept is not that important. Directly business karo and find it out by yourself. What are the concepts? Something like that, right? So it's a very tricky question. I can go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Driving a car. It's very simple to say. Newton's law of motion. Do you really think that to drive a car, everybody needs to know Newton's law of motion? Uh-huh. Yes. Okay. No. No. Yes. Okay. I'm just imagining the scenario. You just go to the MTC, Metropolitan Transport Corporation. Could be Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, whatever it is. You just go make all the drivers sit down and say that, you know what, Newton's law of motion exists. And you start training them. If you apply the brakes over here, the bus will tend to stop only after 100 meters. Why? It's called as inertia. Are we really going there? No, we don't do that. And not everyone knows about Newton's laws of motion while driving. No, they don't even care. They just know the brake failed and mishap happens. And that's how they learn Newton's law of motion. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Do you really think that for budgeting and investing, we require, for budgeting and investing, do we require the financial literacy? Come on, tell me this. So this is quite interesting. Actually, most of the teachers out there, they plan their salaries very judiciously. The salary itself is judicious, then we have to plan it like that only. That's how people have an outlook, right? So they say, out of 5,000 rupees that I get as my monthly salary, let me put 500 rupees for my savings, 500 rupees my so and so. In that also you'll have a separate 500 rupees for leisure or miscellaneous or something like that, and you will use that as a pocket money. Does that really require financial literacy? But if it's not required, you're still able to survive. It's not that it's mandatory, but if it's there, that kind of helps. So is it like I for a particular skill sets, if knowledge is there, it's great. Or is it the other ways? The knowledge is there, and if I know some skill sets, it's great. What is given the priority? That's all the session is about today. Only one larger scale. Okay, okay, okay. Let's go this. Conducting an experiment. Does that require? Okay, I think I'm sorry. Conducting an experiment. For that, do you require the scientific method? Absolutely. I think this is very important. You can't really conduct an experiment without scientific methodology, right? Competency is required. Competency is mix of knowledge and skills. That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah, I think yes for this. All the English teachers. By the way, last session was very interesting, right? Language and culture. I really appreciate everybody's feedback on the form. Fantastic outlook. I didn't expect so many teachers to know at least 3 to 4 languages on an average. The number of languages that you had written last time, the survey says that more than 75% of the people who attended the session knew more than 3 languages. That's great. Now writing an essay, let's come back. Do you really think that you require the grammar rules to be present? Writing an essay and grammar rules. Think about it. So the school education somewhere emphasizes on writing an essay, and there is an emphasis by the English teacher to know the grammar rules. So it's like, I don't really require, but if I know, it kind of helps. Is it again like that? Let's go forward. Let's go forward. Like solving math problems, mathematic concepts. Now, maths problems, mathematic concepts, obvious. No, not really. Not really. See, mathematic concepts is not just about, I would say, addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. No, it's also about logical thinking, having an algorithm sort of a setup. And it's about pattern recognition, probably. So, do you really think maths concepts are required? Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. This is very interesting. Leading a team. Arithmetic is different. Oh, Meenal ma'am, that's a very nice way of putting it out. Leading a team. Does that require leadership theories? People have this innate quality of leadership, probably. They say that I am a born leader. You can be ambitious. That's great. You're a born leader. And are you still good leader? That's a different story altogether. So for you to be a good leader, probably knowing some leadership theories is great, or not. Actually, I would like to stop the screen over here and say something very interesting. Uh, there was this topic about lesson planning in one of the sessions, and they said that the greatest lesson plan. I would repeat it. The greatest lesson plan is a lesson plan where you don't really have a lesson plan. I'll repeat it. So the lesson plan, the best lesson plan is the lesson plan where you do not really have a plan for every period. That's kind of the same. So every teacher, every period can come up with their own creativity and they can do something on the spot. The day when you start, having a categorization, in my period I'm going to do an engaging activity, I'm going to do an elaborate activity, I'm going to do an explain activity. The moment you categorize this, that's where we get inside a cocoon. And this gentleman says that don't have lesson plans, just know how many periods you're required for completing that particular book, and then just start. Eventually you will be there. But I can't really put this as a rule over there. The point over here is the moment we talk about skill and concept, and the moment we talk about its categorization, somewhere, if you don't categorize, it's still a good idea. The moment you categorize, the confusion start. And unfortunately, we are all teachers. We need to write lesson plans in an orderly manner, in a sincere manner, and importantly, being the teachers, we should have the ability to categorize. And if we categorize, we are in a position to have an accurate knowledge about all the categories. And that's what we're going to get into. Let me talk about concept and skill in a more detailed manner. It's a combination of both inner talent. Oh my God, that's a big word. Talent. What do we talk about talent with respect to skills and knowledge? Let's see that. Let's see that. So we'll go with one. Okay, here we go. 13 or 15. Writing a computer program, writing a code. Does that really require programming language? Sorry, logic? Absolutely yes, according to me. Not sure. Computer teachers, do you think programming logic is important to write a code? Yes, no. Yeah, not completely true, not completely false. Let's go for it. Playing chess. Do you think playing chess you require the chess strategies? So there is a book called as How to Play Chess, and in that book they talk about the rules and regulations of how each, I would say, role of the chess coins play, and based on that you make your moves. But in the same book you'll also have certain strategies which talks about if you do this it'll happen, if you do that that'll happen. Do you think that is required, which is from concept perspective? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. And one last is writing a novel. Do you think that you require storytelling elements to be known to you in order to write a novel? Okay, write a novel? Not really, or really. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to stop share the screen and speculate on the same teachers. And I'm going to quickly. I hope I am not able to stop the screen. Definitely. Okay, to some extent. Okay, that's great. Now, the people who said about yes and no, and they were very clear about this is what is required, this is not required, depending on various topics, right? Now, there'll be people who said that up to a certain extent. If it's there, it kind of helps. Now, this particular debate about concept and skill, depending on what you're doing, plays an important role in the approach that you adopt in a school. As a teacher, the moment you get into the class, say, for example, today it's an English class, is there going to be an emphasis on the rules of grammar, or is there going to be an emphasis on the way you use that grammar in your daily life? For example, there are times when if you speak in a passive voice, that's more important than speaking in an active voice, where I would say the object plays an important role and the subject takes a back seat. That's obviously the passive voice. So the ability of someone to decide at this particular point actually comes under the category of skills. So as a teacher, what is going to be your focus? An interesting outlook, teachers. You will love it, Meenal ma'am. Suppose if you're there in a CBC school, you will like active voice. But if you're there in an IB school, probably you'll start using passive voice. How is this related? It is extremely related. Why? Because every time when you get into a board of education, each board of education has got their own curriculum framework. And when we talk about curriculum framework, there are boards out there which gives maximum importance to skills and a very little importance to concept. But there are boards where concept is given more importance and skills are given less importance. Can somebody point out any such board which gives a lot of importance to skills and very less importance to concepts? Yeah, anyone out there? The learning outcomes, the learning objectives, everything is written based on skill sets. We'll try to understand what is concept and skill right after this. But is there anyone out there right now at this particular juncture to tell me the boards that give more importance to skills than the concept? Okay, many people say CBSE. CBSE, I would like to break over here. Teachers, it is not CBSE. CBSE does not give more importance to skill and less importance to concept. You will be surprised to see there's another board altogether in India which people prioritize to give more importance to skill and less importance to concept. You're absolutely correct, Shobana ma'am. Yeah, Ritu ma'am, you're right. We're talking about IB curriculum. Exactly. IB curriculum gives so much importance to skill that they don't even have textbooks. Yeah. So they believe that if I learn this particular topic in the form of a skill, like I keep riding a bicycle and subconsciously probably I understand the act of balancing. Probably I understand the concept of center of gravity. Probably I understand the concept of gear mechanism, whatnot. So this is with respect to the ability of a person. The ability of a person to prioritize skills and then the concept. If it's a CBSE school, where concept is given a certain importance, they'll probably begin with, do you know there is something called a center of gravity? It means that this particular point is responsible for the balance of everything around us. That means, let us take an example of bicycle. Did you understand? Bicycle came after explaining the concept of center of gravity. The priority got to the concept, but not to the skill. Yeah. The other way, in case of IB, they give priority to the skill, but not to the concept. According to you, according to you, Oh, Jagjit Singh. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. So it's just going very fast, the chat, so I would have missed that. According to you, what do you think, teachers, is concept more important or skill more important? Please put it on the chat. According to you, CBSE has now realized the importance of it. Oh, that's why we got the skill subjects. Yes, Meenal ma'am. Can't deny that. Anyone out there? Friction could be another topic. What do you think? Skill is more important or concept is more important? Okay, okay. Now that's a debate. Both skill and concept are equally important. That's completely fine. What would you prioritize? Your priorities directly depend on, I mean, that will be the reflection for your child's admission in future, or your career counseling abilities, or your mindset, in fact. What would you prioritize? Concept or skill? Oh, many people say skill only is very important. Uh-huh. Both are equally important. Okay, both skills. Practical knowledge with skill and concept. Uh-huh. Sunanda ma'am, practical knowledge itself is called as skills, right? Yeah, skills help to build concepts, skills which help to understand the concept. Okay, you're going to be in for a very good surprise. You're going to like this, teachers, definitely, because this particular point was not really dealt in many schools, not in many teacher training programs. With the minimum research that we were able to do in the last 1 week, we figured out that a lot of teachers found this categorization quite difficult. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. Both go hand in hand. Skills are used for teaching concepts. Correct. Now let me show one small video and tell me what is the role of concept over here. But the work is done. But the work is done. This is going to be just like another video that you see on Instagram or YouTube Reels. But I kind of like it. It's kind of addictive. I'm playing it from the YouTube only directly. And for that, I need to share my screen with the sound. Where am I? Here am I. And let me click on share sound. And please watch this. Okay. 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 You're able to
Learning how to speed through and get the job done gets you home with your feet up and relaxing in no time. Here's to
watch
all of
this.
you out there who are so good at what you do that doing it fast is only part of the job. Let's begin. Question: is quick washing dishes something you want to speed through? Or is that one you want someone to take their time with? Time is money, and those boxes aren't going to fold themselves.
I'm just muting the audio. Okay, it might be, I think maybe because of the internet. Both are required in the situation. Do you really think each and every person that's working over here has got great conceptual knowledge in order to perform whatever they're performing? Uh-huh. Or is it actually concept is not playing even a single role over here? Think about it. Okay. You really need to have a very good numeracy knowledge over here to count the notes. And I really wish I get to count that level of notes. Only skill over here. No, right? But anyways, let me stop the video. It'll keep going forward. So here in this case, whatever we saw somewhere, you're very confident to say that that's a part of the job. It's a skill. Now let us understand something through the presentation. You would like it. So when we talk about skill, we actually categorize skill into certain types. Just like the way we have knowledge with multiple types, even skill can be categorized. So for that, I would like to share the screen and show you what exactly we are referring to. And this will open up, sort of thoughts for each and every one. And that's a good sign. Look at this. Concept refers to the why or the foundational knowledge. For example, understanding the theory of gravity or the structure of a computer program. It's simple to understand. It's more of why, the reasoning of its existence. Everything around us is on knowledge. Skill refers to the how or the ability to practically apply concepts. For instance, designing a bridge or coding an app. This is simple to comprehend so far, but let's go forward. Bloom's taxonomy very nicely talked about three domains of hierarchy of learning process. He first said that knowledge, skills, and attitude are really very important for human beings to learn, but they need to have a scientific approach. The scientific approach that he penned down was called as Bloom's taxonomy eventually. And he said that learning can happen under three domains. First is called as cognitive domain, which is directly related to knowledge. Second is called as the psychomotor domain, which is directly related to skills. And third is called as the attitude, knowledge, skills, and attitude, which is directly related to the affective domain. So these are the three major categories of Bloom's taxonomy. However, there is a catch. He said that for cognitive domain, especially when we write the lesson planning, you know that we follow the hierarchy of remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Look at this. This is coming under cognitive domain. But do you really think applying is coming under knowledge or is it skills? Do you really think analyzing comes under knowledge or is it skills? This theory was written under knowledge or cognitive domain, but each and every verb that's over written over there, it's an action word. Then how did this happen? This cannot be. So it's like a, I wouldn't say paradox. It's an irony that you call this as knowledge domain or cognitive domain, but you write everything related to skills. Did you think about it ever, teachers? Say yes or no. Huh? Sir, next period itself, I'm forgetting, sir. How will I think about all these things? Is that the approach? Could be the case. Let me go forward and show you something interesting. So when you go to Bloom's taxonomy, psychomotor domain, actually you have a separate hierarchy where it is said that perception, set, guided response, mechanism that gets converted to complex overt response, adaptation, and origination. So this is how your skill sets actually get improved. So what are you teaching? Now, interestingly, under psychomotor domain, again, if there is a hierarchy, it indirectly communicates that even to attain a skill, you need to follow a certain process of perception, set, guided response, mechanism, overt response, adaptation, and origination. Now, this particular aspect of Bloom's taxonomy brings out an important top point called as skills on the knowledge domain. That means whatever you're talking about understanding or remembering or applying, all these are called as skills on the knowledge domain or cognitive domain, categorized under hard skills, HARD, hard skills. Hard doesn't really mean tough. It's not talking about the difficulty of the skills. It's just with respect to technicality of it. We'll understand this. And skills on the psychomotor domain is actually called as soft skills. Yeah, we'll understand this eventually. So when we talk about skills on the knowledge domain, hard skills, and skills on the psychomotor domain, soft skills, this is exactly the difference. Hard skills are often concept based. That means the ability of a student to apply the concept of trigonometry in order to find the heights and distances is a skill set. Why did it happen? Because the concept of trigonometry existed over there. Did you understand? I'll give you another example to be better relatable. So there is a teacher, say her name is Seema, who just joined the school. She's extremely experienced. She's joining this new school after about 20 years of experience. She's got great knowledge, probably in social science. That's her subject. And when she's coming to the class, her class is actually not that great. Seema, ma'am, don't mistake me. It's just an example. Why do you think her class is not that great? Because she did not have the other skill called a soft skill, one being the communication skills. She was not able to put the cognitive thoughts that she had properly in terms of communication for the children to really like that class. So, this area, the skill set of communication, is coming under soft skills. Nice, no? So, a teacher having an extreme potential on a particular subject, social science, and she's a PhD over there, she's got great knowledge over there. She also knows how to apply that knowledge in her daily life and probably use that knowledge to come to a certain decision or deduction. But unfortunately, she's in a profession where communication plays an important role. So this communication that we're talking about comes under soft skills, and her skill sets related to application of the knowledge that she had comes under hard skills. Nice, no? So here soft skills are skill based, requiring practice and experience, which is more self centered. Example, learning to communicate effectively, resolve conflicts, being able to be calm and relaxed even in a hurried situation, something like that. Many professions require both. A doctor needs medical knowledge, which is hard skill, but also beside like bedside manners, that means soft skills. Yeah, they should know. A teacher needs subject expertise, hard skill, and classroom management, that's a soft skill. I hope I'm able to relate to what we are actually speaking to teachers. So it's not a simple thing called as concept and skill. Whatever we're going to deal with today is going to be a very, very small part of a very deep topic, actually. In fact, this is going to lead us to our 100th session related to evolution of human beings, and you'll be surprised with that particular fact. So if I talk about concept, economic principles, what is a hard skill? Application of concept, financial forecasting, market analysis, these and all can be applied, or you can know only when you have the knowledge called as economic principles. If I talk about physics, laws, engineering, robotics, aerospace design, I can apply all these skill sets or earn these skill sets, or I would say learn these skill sets only when I know the concept of physics laws. However, if I go to the soft skills, problem solving and teamwork has got nothing to do with physics laws. I hope you're able to understand. So anytime we talk about the Bloom's taxonomy psychomotor domain, it's more from the soft skill perspective. How, as a human being, I react to a situation with respect to my arms, and that's why it's called as psychomotor. It's like brain interacting with hands and legs, right? So now when I go back, Bloom's taxonomy cognitive domain, this talks about the knowledge, and under the knowledge domain we talk about certain skill sets that is completely on hard skill sets. Nice, right? Let's go forward. Language and grammar, writing reports, public speaking, yes, you might require the grammar. However, persuasion, active listening, these are other aspects of language and grammar which is not really direct, that's called as soft skills. Now as a leader, now as an HM, now as a coordinator, you tell me, teachers, if you want to hire a computer teacher right now, what are you, so forget about computer teachers, let's go with mathematics, let's go with maths teacher right now to be hired immediately, what would you prioritize? Would you prioritize the hard skill or would you prioritize the soft skill, assuming that particular teacher has got detailed knowledge? You tell me, are you going to prioritize the hard skill or the soft skill? Come on, both. Yeah, of course, both. I'm going to talking. I see it. Whenever I say prioritize, you just put one over there because it's evident with so far session that both are equally important. Now, people are saying priorities are going to be on soft skill. Why priority is going to be there on soft skill? Why not hard skill? Soft skill. Oh, in today's world, soft skills. Oh, if it was 1980s or 70s, without communication skill, you can still become a teacher. Is that so? Why? Because there were vacancies, too many schools. No. Soft skill, skilled enough to push the hard skill. Oh, wow. That's perfect. Now, Subramanian sir, you're right. Because teacher has to attract the students. Soft skill. No, now students are different. Ah, that's a good point, Andrela ma'am. Because you said she is sound in a subject. Yeah, she is sound in a subject. But she doesn't. So if you're saying soft skills, so she's not that great with her hard skill. Yeah, we just know that she has got the knowledge, but she doesn't know how to apply that knowledge. Hard skill is that. Definitely, whatever she possesses should be seen when she teaches. Correct. But just imagine you are able to find that out in the interview. What are you prioritizing? Okay, because you know she's good in a subject. Okay, okay. Let's put this. So here in this case, according to the solution over here, it is based on the learning attribute of skill set. It seems that the soft skills that you nurture over the period of time in you is not really transferable. That means communication skills of a human being, you cannot transfer my communication to yourself. Why? Because you will have your own style of communication. But hard skills are actually transferable. If anybody said that I would like to hire a person with soft skills, and once they join, probably I'll give them space and opportunity to attain the hard skills. Why? Because they are kind of transferable. I hope you're able to understand. So when we talk about hard skill, which is application of direct concepts, which is directly related to the knowledge, that particular person has the conceptual understanding completely. So obviously that can be attained at any time. But when we talk about the soft skill, that is where the problem comes. Can you really hire someone who's really good with something which is hard skill, but they doesn't have good, soft skills? So in this case, it's the ability of a leader. Now we are talking about teaching profession, so it's very evident that for a teaching profession, if that person is just going to teach, may not be the right fit. However, some principals come up with an idea. We know that this person has got a lot of qualities. This person is just not able to speak. This person is introvert in nature, not able to talk to the students. I don't want to lose the PhD in Seema. I want Seema to be part of my school, so let me avoid what she lacks, probably teaching, and appoint her as the headmistress where the teaching is not given, or make her the coordinator, so that she'll have an ability to understand the hard skills, and then she's like, let me make the lesson plan, and because she's good with that, and you avoid the topic over there. So now that's an interesting outlook. I hope you're able to understand. I'm just coming up with a random example. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but a leader's job is to identify certain skill sets among the teachers or the employees out there and assign the role according to that, rather than replacing that particular position. We can't find everyone who's good with conceptual knowledge, hard skills, and soft skills as well. That's why we have training sessions. Yeah, without soft skills, it is very, very difficult to convey the hard skills. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Correct. If you don't have any skill set, yeah, you don't exist after a certain point of time. The learning is also an ability. For example, let's go with certain aspects, and you try to tell me. So phonetics is the concept, and when we talk about reading aloud, that's the skill set that the person should be earning. With phonetics, it's completely related to whatever we are going to speak right now on hard skills. Now, when we talk about critical thinking as a concept, analyzing the text is your hard skill. Teaching pedagogy, conducting a lesson. History of education, designing a curriculum. Cognitive development, engaging students. So these are coming under education and learning. Similarly, for science, if I go to the subject, science and medicine, human anatomy is very important. Why? Because I need to learn a skill set of performing surgery. Chemical reactions. You need to know chemical reactions to conduct a lab experiment. These are all hard skills. So hard skills cannot be disintegrated from the cognitive domains, from the knowledge aspect. So now next time when we go and sit in the lab and sorry, probably in the staff room to prepare a lesson plan, what are you trying to write in the lesson plan makes all the difference. Do you really want to categorize your lesson plan to hard and soft skill? If you do that, that's great. You'll be able to tell your principal, ma'am, I'm not able to find a hard skill for this particular chapter. Can I involve more of soft skills? Something like that. And that could be done. And when you talk about a teacher who's extremely successful in a particular school, now when I say successful, it's not about the recognition only from the school leader, it's also from the students. Like, ma'am, I really love your teaching. It is an accumulation of multiple teachings that you have done, which involves your knowledge, which involves your hard skill, which involves your soft skill as well. That's why we say a doctor to be a great doctor when we have all these three. So the moment we get into education industry teachers, we know that all these are very similar to each other. The line of difference in all of them is very, 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 very thin. But unfortunately, we're all teachers, right? Yeah, you need to know the difference. Mandatory it is. That's the reason we're talking about is physics laws. I know I can build a machine. Immunology, diagnostic. Now, if I have to compare the same thing, physics law, I know I'm here to build a machine, but in the process of building a machine, I'm giving up multiple times. Why? Because the machine is not functioning. So the ability of me to continue working on the same machine until it works, which probably comes under the category of perseverance, is a soft skill. Got the point? Yeah. So it's all like together but different. So similarly, business management, marketing strategies, running an ad campaign is a skill. If you know some marketing strategies, your ad campaign. So for example, in my case, I'm really poor with my marketing. I'm not at all good. See, if I was really good at marketing, I would have had almost all the schools in the country the last 2 years to know about Super Sunday Workshop. But I was not able to do that. Why? Because I'm lacking that knowledge somewhere, and I'm not able to learn the hard skills and eventually soft skills. But the interesting part over here is probably I have the soft skills of something like, let us have some consistency. One day India will know me, something like that, which makes me continue every Sunday. So if I just still depend on only my soft skills and not really focus on the hard skills and the concept, my growth is not going to be steady. It's going to keep on fluctuating. So it's my duty to make sure that I learn the concept of marketing. I learn the concept of hard skills related to marketing, start applying them, also have my soft skills in place in order to progress. This particular aspect is also governed by another important point called as interests. If I don't have interest to do all these things, then it is waste. One day it's going to stop. That is why put all these things together: knowledge, hard skills, soft skills, and the interest. That is called as competency. You got the point? That's why India is referring to competency based education multiple times. Anyways, let's go forward. Let's go forward. So, talent, where does this come into picture? This is an important point. Talent, where does this come into picture? Talent, does it come under skills? Talent, does it come under the concept? Where does this come into picture? We'll talk about that in further sessions in the future. But right now, with respect to knowledge, concept, the skills, and with respect to hard skills and soft skills, and next week we'll be learning about talent as well eventually, and a few other topics. We will be understanding the idea of, as a teacher, what is really important for us. And there will be one day in one of the Sundays I'll tell that nothing exists, only knowledge exists, and it's going to be another approach altogether. So that brings me actually to the end of the session today, teachers. An introduction to concept and skill. This will continue again over further sessions, and the 100th session is going to be related to this. That's why we are beginning to go towards that particular session, so that we set the context really right. So, and considering my hurried arrival to my home, I was really fast today. I'm not sure if I was able to convey the message. Extremely sorry for that, but I hope you are able to connect to the points, whatever we spoke right now. The questions today are very interesting in the reflection form. I would request you to please go through it little carefully. It's not that easy to answer, frankly speaking, but answering the question itself will give a lot of clarity. Yeah. Yes, that's it. So that brings me to the end of the session today, teachers. Thank you so much for joining on another Super Sunday workshop. I'll come back again with an interesting topic next week and the following topics, and we'll see you in further workshops. Until then, thank you everyone, and Jai Hind. Happy Republic Day to one and all teachers. Thank you so much. IQ of a person is directly related to knowledge and skills. You're right. You're right. We're going to talk about it. Yeah. Now, we didn't speak about something called as thinking skills. We didn't speak about metacognition. We didn't speak about the different boards that are there. Multiple global frameworks are there. Deliberately avoided considering the time, but we are going to touch upon all these things in further, Super Sunday sessions. Yeah, Meenal ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you, Deva Manogari ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just, keeping the sanctity of 10 to 11. I'm so sorry to close it early. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shobna ma'am, Bharati ma'am. Great interacting with one and all. The reflection form is coming on the chat. Please complete the reflection form today itself and ensure to score 7 and above to get the certificate. For the people who didn't get the certificate last Sunday, you will get it this week before Wednesday with a new topic on the mail itself. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. No problem, Sukhbira ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nisha ma'am. Thank you, Chandrakala ma'am. Thank you. Have a super Sunday, teachers. Spend time with your family. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Vimbi Menon, ma'am. Thank you for joining regularly. Thank you, Kartika, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Parna, ma'am, Snehal, ma'am, Ritu, ma'am. Yeah, thank you very much. We have got an exciting year coming up. A lot of changes in the CBSE. I'm really eager to talk about some of the amazing circulars that are about to come, and you'll have a good time. Super Sunday sessions will continue forever. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone, teachers. Help me reach more participants and audience. I would request you to please share the details of Super Sunday to the other schools and teachers, so that 1 hour everybody can spend on some, I would say, bites of knowledge. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Aruna, ma'am. Thank you so much. Chalo. I'm closing the session. I'll see you in the next Sunday. Bye, everyone.